that shit up, Quay. Oh my gosh, back at it again. Back at it. In the kitchen whipping, I'm rapping again. Whip it. Keep on playing, bitch, then I'm stabbing your friend. Woo. I'm in the hood, they think I'm back trapping again.
What's up? This is AJ. This is the What We Gonna Do podcast. I'm excited. You know what I mean? I feel like I said this the other time, with my last guest, but I'm saying it again because to me, this is a big deal. You know what I mean? This guy is the homie. This guy, man, I'm already, getting ready to talk about my guest. Let me get through the regular shit first. Like I said, this is the What We Gonna Do podcast. You can find me on social media at What We Gonna Do Pod. That's Instagram, that's Twitter. Shout out to all the new followers. Shout out to all the old followers. I need some more reviews. I'm gonna be honest with y'all because I still got that one little funky ass review. I want to know who you is, whoever you is. At me, DM me, let me know what's up or whatever. I don't really care about the review, you know what I mean? I talked about it. It's so funny how people do stuff. But, I went and I looked the other day and I say, oh man, I forgot all about this. So, man, hit me up, you know what I mean? Let's chat, you know what I mean? If you still around or whatever, because I know it was a woman, which I don't know why I got so many issues with women or whatever. I don't be having no problems with the dudes, but it is what it is. We finna jump right into this thing. But I'm going to tell y'all right now, y'all should listen to this. So if you're thinking like, all right, man, I don't even know if I'm going to finish this one. I don't know if I'm going to listen. You need to listen to this one. This whole time I've been doing this back to the basics. I'm going back to how everything started. I'm starting off from scratch and just doing stuff over again. So, this fits right in line with some of the content that y'all got early on. Without further ado, I am about to welcome to the show Sire, 1/3 of the Officially Street podcast, father of 4, I believe. So like father of Assad, and Assad, husband, rapper, super producer, podcast bully, George Washington, Wastradamus, and all around good dude I want to see win. I ain't met this dude in person, but me and this cat is cool as a fan. What's up, bro?
Cool as a fan, my guy. Yo, what's going on, y'all? Yeah, what's going on, beloved? It's your boy Sire, the Wash God himself. The hoodie season representative, banging on my chest, king of the backhanded compliments, all first verse, Sir Sire, Duke of Worcestershire, dripping in spinal fluid, Scotty Peppin, Smackavelli, Smacky Robinson, Wastradamus, the bad guy in the podcast bully. You guys can follow me everywhere at SyireSO, that's SYERSO, and I just deleted my Snapchat, so I gotta change my intro from now on. So I don't got nothing to flow for it yet. I apologize.
Woo! That's what I'm talking about. Look, I needed one of those. If y'all ain't got one of those, I'm telling you, you gotta get one of those intros. I wasn't even expecting that. I would have asked him for it, but I'm glad he did it. I needed one.
Listen, if I don't give you an intro, I don't really rock with you.
Bro, man, I appreciate that. I'm glad to have this sit down. This is gonna be a good conversation, man. So pretty much, I know we talked a little bit. I'm gonna jump right into it, man. First thing, is the male's role in the relationship redefined by a more successful woman in the relationship? Who is the leader? Who wears the pants? The whole reason I kind of, thought about that, and again, it was just kind of one thing to kind of go over was, Kanye. I guess you could say he's a good example, even though I don't like talking about dude or whatever. Kim ain't got the most sense in the world, but I really do be wondering, do Kanye run shit, or does she allow him to think that he runs shit? Or she empowers him to run shit. I mean, Kanye do whatever the fuck he want to, but Kim ain't rocking. Well, at least publicly, she not rocking with everything that he doing. She not dying on the sword. She might throw a naked pic out to change the conversation, but it ain't like, yeah, Kanye, I'm with all that shit that you with too. I'm just thinking about the male's role in a relationship and the woman being more successful. Because again, with Kanye and Kim, just as an example, as we know it, Kim is like the Forbes and all of this other shit. So technically, she's more successful in a sense than Kanye is. Even though he got these accolades, he probably got a couple Grammys, but she's like a bigger figure than he is.
I mean, I have a perfect example just to make it more relatable for the people. Well, you know what I mean? I don't like talking about the Kardashians and all of that shit much either. But perfect example is actually my parents growing up. My father sacrificed, his college and his time for my mother to go and focus and go to school and get her career going. My mother, eventually worked her way up to, she's a big boss in her company. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And even growing up, she was, the boss or the big boss coming up. So she did make more money than my father. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So in all reality, okay, if you want to really say it, okay, the breadwinner. Now, my father wasn't a slacker either. He made, some good money as well, but it didn't compare to her. But they also had a respect level for one another that she never once belittled my father. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because now my father, he was doing things that my mother couldn't do. So he's taking care of the house. He's, cars need to get fixed. He's taking care of it. You know what I mean? Things need to be done. My father's doing it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think it's based on the relationship. If you're insecure, you know what I mean, with the fact that your lady might be making less than you, then that's on you. Mm-hmm. But you just got to figure out what can you do to show your worth in the relationship. Okay, yeah, she's making more money, but she's not going to be able to run the household without you. And ladies, I'm not saying that y'all can't run a household without a man. I'm not trying to say that. Mm-hmm. What I'm trying to say is when you're in a relationship, it's a two-person thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, my father probably wouldn't have, and this is just me speaking hypothetically, he probably wouldn't have been able to run the house without my mother. My mother wouldn't be able to run the house without my father. And now that's kind of like my situation today. I did the same thing that my father did. I saw the career path my wife was going into, and she was kind of following my mother's footsteps. Mm-hmm. So although I did go to college, I only got my 2-year degree. You know what I mean? My wife went on to get her bachelor's, and then she's thinking about going for her master's. I'm not mad at her. I'm going to let her do that. And then if she ultimately ends up, making more money than me in the long run, then I'm okay with that. I'm secure. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't feel no type of way because everything that my wife and I do today, because like right now, I make more money than her. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm not sitting here acting like I make a whole lot of money, but I make more money than her. But at the end of the day, we're together. So when those checks come in, it's our money. You know what I mean? Of course, we both get our money to put in our pockets. But when it comes to taking care of the house, that's ours. You know what I mean? I'm not that's my check and I'm taking care of this. No, we're taking care of this. So I think when it comes to roles and things like that, you just got to be secure in your position. Yeah. You know what I mean? And knowing what you do in the relationship. If you don't feel no type of way that your lady's making more money than you, because I said that because I could ultimately see, my wife potentially making more money than me. Yeah. I'm okay with it. But then I also can sit back and be like, well, I set her up like that. You know what I mean? I wanted to see her be great. Yeah. So I can't be mad at her when she's being great. And, maybe I will work my way up. Or maybe my producing thing will take off. And next thing I know, bang, I'm making all this money. Right. Whatever the case may be, I'm not going to treat my wife any different. Right. You know what I mean? And I'm sure if she goes and makes the big bucks, she's not going to treat me any different either. Bet. You know what I mean?
You pretty much hit it on the head, man. I think, like you say, it just depends on those people in that relationship. It's not something that you just look at like, well, I see a more successful woman, so that makes this man less of a man. Like he's now playing the role of the woman in the relationship. It sounds like in your mind, the man is still the man, the woman is still the woman. It doesn't diminish the man just because he has a more successful woman. That's kind of like a good thing. People talk about make different jokes about Jay-Z and Beyonce because Beyonce is making this net and this is her number on Forbes and then this is Jay-Z. And so of course, it's like well, her little, her sales and different things that she's doing is more profitable than what Jay is doing. But it's like nobody really cares about that because again, they together. I mean, he's helped her to get into that position. He's helped her to boss up, even when she fired her dad and she became her own manager. A lot of that was because of Jay-Z and his position in her life and just doing different things for her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it didn't change that he was still Jay-Z. He was still
exactly
who he was or whatever. Because that's like I guess in different conversations nowadays, it's just like again, what I mentioned earlier is, who's the leader, who wears the pants. So to me, both of y'all, you know what I mean? I think I kind of agree with the same lines that you on it. We still doing this together. It doesn't necessarily have to be, well, this is the man of the house and this is this. Like, we can have a conversation, and again, you take care of this, and it's like, you ain't gonna want me to step down. Me and my wife, we have these conversations all the time where it's like, I am happy for her when she levels up. She happy for me when I level up. With me and my wife, it's a competition, to be honest. It's like, when my wife jumped 10 racks or whatever, I'm like, okay, I gotta, I gotta step up. I gotta move to the next thing. That's just my mentality. And plus, I'm really trying to get to like a Bill Gates status, but I'm never.
Okay. I need a small loan.
Oh man, hey, it's coming. Man, look, man, you already know, man. I wish you all the success and everything. I'm rooting for you, man. So when it gets to that time to break bread, I got you in there, man. And hopefully, I don't even need you to break bread with me, man. I just need you to shout me out, put me in like an insert or something on the record.
Okay. Okay.
Give me some type of, help me out in that type of way or whatever, man.
All right, bet, I got you.
But my wife, it's kind of funny because I don't look at myself as less of a man, and I'm still a man or whatever. And I think that again with women, we get these different experiences. Obviously, ain't no women on here right now, but you do have those women who they look at it like, you're not a man no more in this position or whatever. If I'm more successful than you, if I'm bigger than you, I'm the man and the woman.
Yeah, I have another good example of, it being the opposite. I won't say no names, but, good friend of both my wife and I, the couple, they're married, and the husband, this dude, he makes money. Money. You know what I mean? He makes bread. But now, unfortunately, for her, she kind of had to sacrifice a lot of things for him to get to where he is today. And I don't think he ever really acknowledges the fact that, she did take the back seat while he got to where he is today. Mm-hmm. But now, since he is so successful and he makes so much money, now he does kind of belittle her a little bit because she just has a regular ass job. Now she's been consistent on keeping a job. And I mean, she does a great job with, providing for the house, she makes sure, when the kids come home, homework's done, food is made. Like, she makes sure everything is good. So when he comes home, he don't got to worry about nothing. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's her. That's what she puts into the relationship. You know what I mean? But to him, since everything is about success in his mind, he doesn't look at it that way. He just looks at it. He looks at it as she's just doing play shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. And now you see, that's unfortunate because now he doesn't sit back and think about, while I was doing X, Y, and Z and getting my shit together, she was there supporting me and making sure that, I'm getting to the next level. Yeah. And she sacrificed for her. Now, the one thing that we always tell her is like, now that y'all good, like, why don't you go and, start to level up yourself? And then I think she's just insecure now because, of how successful he is. So you see what I mean? Like, sometimes, like, it isn't always a good thing to be, I don't want to say the head of the household, but, like, just to be that successful that, you're going to look at, this person like, all right, well, I'm doing more than you. You know what I mean? So you should be doing this for me. So you should be blah, blah, blah. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that, there are relationships. We see shit like that in movies and we see this in real life all the time.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
Man, look, that has been going on, man, and that's why I posed the question this way, because we are in this era of women being more successful or getting to these different levels in all of these different fields, and what that means to the role of a man in that situation. And again, I don't want to give a women too many credit, but because that is not the conversation. That is not the conversation anymore. But that was the conversation for a long time. Is that a man being more successful was normal. It did not diminish the woman. The woman was still the woman. She did this. She did that. That was normal. Now we're in a situation to where men, this is not normal. Like, men are not used to women being more successful. So you have these different women who they want, their man to step up, to level up, or you may have the few women that they don't care. You know what I mean? They just want to be with a guy because they want to be with a guy. And I mean, they had the little, funny ass thing on Twitter or whatever, which was kind of funny or whatever. But it's just different nowadays. So we gonna move on, because I don't want to, because I could get into a whole thing about the women, how they get dogged, and how men been doing this, and that's right, Sire. That's how we been getting done. We still getting treated like this. I ain't finna give y'all none of that. Not today. Should a woman change her last name once she gets married? My homeboy said he's been looking a lot at message boards about women saying no, keeping their maiden name, saying shit like I only use his name for Facebook, or I hyphenated it. Just off the onset, what do you think? And then I'm gonna break it down a little bit more. But what do you think? Should a woman change her last name once she gets married? Be honest, nigga. I don't want to hear no.
No. Listen, man. I try to pride myself in my media training. You know what I mean? Okay. But
I know your wife listening. I know your wife. She might listen, and she gonna be like, he better say the right thing.
Yeah, no. It's not even saying the right thing. Listen, when it comes to things like that, I am old school with it. You know what I mean? My wife did want to do the whole hyphenated last name and all that. And I won't front. I really wasn't with it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I get why, they want to hold on to, who they are. Yeah. And I get it. But I just feel like, okay, you are now, you're this. Like, we're one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is us. You know what I mean? We grew into this. Yeah. So I'm not trying to say, you were, with your last name before. Now I'm upgrading. Nah, like, this is us now. We're moving together as a family. Our kids have my last name. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, this is our family now. Yeah. It's not your last name hyphenated my last name. No, it's my daughter, when she was born, she has my last name. You know what I mean? Yeah. I feel that it should all be complete. You know what I mean? That way, in my opinion. Now, I do also understand why they want to do it, but for me, I'm old school, always been that way. All examples that I've seen, the woman has the man's last name, and I do want to keep it that way. Because, listen, I get it. You know what I mean? I don't. Women are our equals, you know what I mean? And it's more, you see it even more today, and I love that. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I do believe that there are certain things that are the way they are for a reason.
Yeah. Don't,
to me.
Hold up. Look, because I don't want you to give them too much, because I'm going to actually go into that, and I want you to I want you to talk about that, because I think you're about to go into it.
Okay, go ahead.
Look. So, okay, I'm with you. My wife know this. Old school. We've been married. It's going to be 10 years next, in June or whatever. Anyway, June that's when our anniversary is or whatever. And my wife know. Even we kind of joked about it, but it was like no. I basically told her flat out, we not getting married if you try to hyphenate your name. I was like, it's not happening. And I won't even. I don't know. I think it's just. Again, I guess that was kind of like a weird thing. Like you say, it may have been just an old school thing. To me, it was almost, I don't know, it's kind of like almost disrespectful, because it's like, why are you doing it? You know what I mean? It's like, you know how this go. Your mama ain't got her name hyphenated. Your sister ain't got her name hyphenated. Your grandma ain't hyphenate her name. Why are you trying to? You know what I mean? Is you trying? And again, when me and my wife had this conversation, it was a light type of thing. Like she wasn't really tripping, but she knew I was dead serious. Like, and I'm dead serious. We were not going to get married if she wanted to hyphenate her name. So I'm gonna bullet it there because the next thing I wanted to kind of talk about just within that is, and I think I've seen you kind of talk about church maybe a little bit kind of here and there, but you look at the Bible. Therefore shall a man leave his father and mother and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. This is Genesis 2 verse 24. You kind of alluded to that, just talking about we become one thing. Does that verse, does that mean anything to you as far as, and again, we ain't got to get into the whole religion thing or anything. That's kind of the thing of the whole we becoming one, but it's under me. You know what I mean? I know that in a certain way, but that's what it is. Yeah.
Listen, first of all, I'm with you. My wife and I had a similar conversation because she did kind of talk about, hyphenating her last name. And I told her, I said, well, listen, we could still be together, but we're not going to get married. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We don't have to do that. And, she understood and we did speak about it. At the end of the day, we kind of thought the same way. You know what I mean? This is all one. You know what I mean? We're coming together. You know what I mean? And creating and moving forward. Right. You know what I mean? And again, it may just be an old school thing, and that's just how I am. You know what I mean? You take the man's last name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what we do moving forward. You know what I mean? And now my son, you know what I mean, when he gets married and he has kids, my name moves on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's how it goes. My daughters, they're gonna get married. I'm going to, assume that they're going to move forward with their husband's last name. You know what I mean? Right. Or whatever happens. You know what I mean? Whether they end up with a woman or a man, whatever it is, I'm cool with it. Yeah. You know what I mean? But it's what you do as your family. Yeah. You know what I mean? For me, now I'm not a super religious person. I do go to church from time to time, you know what I mean? But I do have my beliefs, and I think also that's another strong thing in a relationship is your belief.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So my wife had a similar, belief as well when we did have the conversation, and when we did come to the conclusion of we're sticking with just my last name. That's pretty much what we tied it on. You know what I mean? Under God, you know what I mean? We're moving forward with my last name. You know what I mean? It says it there. We're one now under my last name. Yeah. Under my name, we're moving forward with this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's how I felt, and she understands. Now, again, I'm not forcing that on people. Whatever you guys decide to do, that's your relationship. Right. But with me, that's how we're going. That's how it's going to be, and I'm sure that's how most men feel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't really come across. I mean, I haven't really seen a lot of pushback from women who are like, "Yo, I just want to keep my last name." Unless you're like going back to like a Kardashian, that's your business.
Yeah.
I can understand why she has that hyphenated, or who knows? Maybe she just does that in the public, and in reality, her last name is West. I don't know. I don't follow them like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? But if it's for a business, I get it. Yeah. Kamora Lee Simmons, she kept that last name. Yeah. Why? Because of business. You know what I mean?
Look, Beyonce knows Carter. You know what I mean? Again, those is
and again, that's business.
And they not regular people.
Business.
They not regular people.
Exactly.
So if you, I mean, again, you could have a business. You could have a small business. I don't know. You could own a beauty salon or something like that. We're talking about these are people who are pretty much known for these names prior to even getting into situations. So it's more understandable in those types of things. And like you say, on the actual paperwork, it may not be like that, but in the public,
exactly,
it's like that or whatever. And I agree. If we are becoming one, I'm just like, yo, why you need, two last names? I mean, it used to be like a thing of women saying, I want his last name. I want this.
Yeah.
I want that. And then you do have this side conversation, like you said. Not a lot of people are talking about it, but it's still kind of a conversation because it's like, well, I still want to hold on to this, so he knows that I'm me, and I'm gonna take him to or whatever. But I still want to keep this. So let me throw in another thing. You mentioned it that it's not really that big of a deal. You know what I mean? As far as like that's a conversation between those people. So pretty much, you wouldn't say that if a woman just sat there and she stood her ground and was like, "No, I'm keeping two." You don't see that as a disrespectful thing. We're not even talking about how the man feels about it. We're talking about a woman who just like, I'm standing my ground. We hyphenating it. I'm not taking your last name.
And now, I believe that's a case by case thing.
Yeah.
Because like I said earlier, when my wife and I had that discussion, I said, it's either this is happening or we're not going to get married. We're just going to move. We're going to move together. You know what I mean? Whatever happens, right. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying like us separated, but like, all right, we're gonna move forward, and we're not gonna get married. We're just gonna be together, and that's it.
Yeah.
Then that's how it would have stayed. You know what I mean? You know, for forever, how long? Yeah. But you know,
it's just
if the person is open to it, if the man is open to it, you know what I mean, and the woman, and that's what she wants to do, and he's okay with it, I'm not gonna knock you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But for me, you know what I mean, and again, it's case by case and relationship by relationship. It's whatever y'all want to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just really big on we're a family, we're one. We can't be a family in one if you're sitting there with a hyphenated last name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To me, it just looks crazy. You know what I mean? Across the board, if all of our kids have just my last name and you're walking around with that, it just doesn't even look right to me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Look, man, we coming under a new covenant. We coming under a new thing and all this other stuff. And you were under your, hypothetically, you're under your father's house or your mother's house, because we know some parents, they wasn't together, so they just got their mom last name. They didn't even get their daddy last name or whatever. My little sister's like that. My little sister ain't got her dad's last name. I have my dad's last name, but my little sister, she ain't got her dad's last name. You know what I mean? And you have those, different situations. But as far as, like you said, me and this person coming together, it's like, all right, now we finna come under this thing, and this finna be our house. It's like, this name is just not, this is not just my last name. It's now our name. Like, you are part, like, we family now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is us.
This is us. Like, it ain't just like, oh yeah, I was about to say my last name. Anyway, because y'all would have been Googling like a mother. Anyway, y'all ain't never gonna get my real name. Some of y'all, offline, some of y'all know my real name or whatever, but we ain't even gonna talk about that. But yeah, like, you should take ownership in that. It's a pride thing. Like, I'm still with that type of value. It's like, yo, it's not a bad thing. It's almost like, for some people, they feel like it's a bad thing to take that man's name, because, they are literally, at least some of them, in my opinion, they trying to hold on to themselves. Like, I feel like women are still trying to hold on to a single version of themselves. Like, they want to keep their individuality, instead of saying, I'm married now. And men do the same thing, where men go through a transition of, bro, you're no longer single. You can't do single things. You can't keep hanging out with your single friends. And you have women, they kind of go through that phase too. And if, for the ones I've heard talking about it, and this is over the years, as far as like women feeling like, they're just not, they almost look at it as a form of submission, and they don't want to fully give themselves up to this new thing of being married. It's like a protective thing to distance yourself for yourself, even though, look, you're married now. You got to let them walls and let them guards down. You know what I'm saying?
To me, I feel if you're not ready to do that, then you're just really not ready to get married.
Yep.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Y'all can be together, and that's what I said. We can stay together.
Right.
That just means to me you're just not ready for that. Then.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Then we'll wait. You know what I mean? Till ultimately happens. You know what I mean? And again, this is just for me.
No, I agree.
But
you
know what I mean? You and I are pretty much the same page.
Yeah, because I know women may not think of it as a man relinquishing something, but we are giving something up. Like, I think it's still important for a man to choose a woman and say, I want you to have my last name. I know y'all think it's just normal and that's what a man's supposed to do anyway, but that's a big deal because some people, we carry our names on our back. Like, our family name, that shit means something. Like, this ain't just you know what I mean? Everybody can't just get this name. I'm giving this name to you. This ain't a name that I'm just like, you know what? It ain't even that big of a deal. I don't really care about it. Like, even though women might not see it as that because you guys are so sentimental about your, your birth last name, but that last name for a lot of us men, it's just as sentimental. And that's kind of the message that I wanted to get across is that I know y'all might think we just being assholes and we being misogynistic and we being, this is the hyper masculinity. But the same way y'all feel about it, about taking our names, we feel about it giving you guys, I'm giving you my name. I want you to take it.
This is showing that I want to be with you. I want this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Fully.
I want this. Bro, my last name means everything. Listen, I don't know, I may have said it a few times. My stage name, Sayer, is from my last name. Okay. You know what I mean? I just changed my last name around a little bit and turned it into a stage name.
Right.
But my stage name is my last name. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it actually still means the same thing. Sayer is just, I didn't want to be walking around and people calling me Sire. I think that's corny. Yeah. So that's why I kind of freaked it a little bit. Yeah. But my last name means kings. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I just took, and so that's my name. You know what I mean? Yeah. So so I carry, even when people call me Sayer, that's my last name. Right. You know what I mean? I just freaked it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be like you. I'm not gonna give people my last name, but it's a play off of it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So yes, it does mean a lot. You know what I mean?
To us men, it mean, look, what Pusha T say? My name is my name.
My name is my name. I was just about to say
it. So, like I say, women, I hope y'all get that piece that, I know y'all might not think about that, but for a lot of us, it ain't just some fly-by-night type of shit. The women that we choose to say that, look, I want to marry you. And we ain't just talking about I want to be boyfriend and girlfriend for the rest of our lives. I'm talking about I want to do this whole thing, get the paperwork, this, that, and the third. And I know we ain't even going to get into the value of marriage and how people look at it. And some people feel like this and that. But for me, that's a big deal. You know what I mean? Like, it's important. And I want you to understand that. It's not, this does not lessen you. This is, in my mind, we're going to be greater. You know what I mean? This is a good thing in my opinion or whatever. All right. Yeah. So we're gonna keep it moving. I know I'm kind of we hitting these things and we hitting them hard. But, as people, if we know better, then why don't we do better? I'm asking you that. As people, if we know better, then why don't we do better? Why do you think that we don't do better?
Being stuck in our ways and thinking that we can figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, again, another perfect example for me. I know that I could be doing better in my life as far as like further in my career. You know what I mean? Yeah. I should be going back and taking some more courses and things like that, and which will ultimately lead to me getting more money and moving along with my career. But right now I'm gambling with this music thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I hung up the microphone. I'm no longer rapping. Right? But after I did that and I stuck to producing, I started starting to take off a little bit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I've gotten placements. I got way more placements this year than I probably have in like the last 5 years. Yeah. And we're only in May. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm getting some, I can't say what was going on, but I'm getting some shit going on. Yeah. You know what I mean? But now none of this is really guaranteed either. So right now, I'm kind of just riding this wave and seeing what's going to happen. But in the back of my mind, I'm always just like, damn, like I'm kind of hoping that this is going to happen, and I should know better, that I should just, say, fuck it, this is me chasing a dream. I should get my shit together and go and do this and be more successful in my actual career. But I want to prove it wrong. I want to prove life wrong. I want to prove like, yeah, all right, I was supposed to do this, but Bond, look, I took off doing this. I think everybody kind of has their, I know I'm doing, like I should be going in path A, but let me see what happens in B. I think it's just human nature. Yeah. Like we just want to try to figure it out on our own, even if the sign is right there in our face. Like, yo, if you do this, this is gonna happen. But you want to be like, but I want to see if I go this way, if I can make it happen myself. God himself can be telling us like, yo, I'm telling you, right, follow this here, and you're gonna get here. Yeah. And we're gonna be like, all right, I see that, and I'll come back to that. Yeah. Thank you for showing me that. But I want to see what happens over here. Yeah. I think it's just human nature, man, and we all have our dreams and our things. And some people, they aspire to just have a great career, and they are just going to follow the path that's given to them. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that either, because you don't know what that can lead to. Yeah. There's some people, this is my career, and then next thing I know, I branched off and started off a business. I would have never known that if I just would have, just stayed on this path and just kept following it. Like we just never know what's going to happen. I think we try to take control of what's going to happen. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think that's all of us, man.
Man, look. Boy, you get me fired up, man, and boy, I don't even want to go off onto a tangent, but I'm listening to you, and let me say this about, Sayer, man. This guy, I don't believe none of that stuff that he just said. Let me tell you why. Not none of it. Let me say that a little bit differently, because he is still doing something for the betterment. This is to the audience. This is to y'all. Yeah. And so that and I done told him this behind the scenes or whatever. So it's not like he not doing stuff for the better. He's just doing it in a different way. It ain't like he wants bad shit to come out of the shit that he's working on. He still wants to accomplish the same goals and different things as other people, just in this direction. So let me be clear about that. You know what I mean? And I support that. It ain't like my bro just not doing nothing. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So you ain't even, in my opinion, you're not even in that category of, well, hey man, just hang that up and go get you a 9 to 5 or whatever. Because in my mind, and me and you done talked about it, I might as well quit my job and start selling dope if that's the case. And if we're talking about doing better, shit, I might as well just be like, F this. Let me go do this and take my chances if I want to do better in that type of way or whatever. But I'm taking, even though I'm doing this whole corporate thing, I'm still taking what I consider to be the road less traveled. Reason being, coming from my environment, it's a lot of shit that would be a lot easier for me to do. But to stick with this corporate shit, to be at a job a certain amount of time, I used to look at my grandmother, you know what I mean, and my uncle, and I'm like, yo, I want to be like them. They've been at their job 25 years, 20 years. And I'm like, yo, I don't even know if I could be at a job longer than 6 months. This is the younger version of me, because again, we in a new generation. The older people, they could deal with shit. You know what I mean? They put that shit on their back. They carried their families. They did what they had to do. Even if they didn't move up, they in the same position. They've been in this company. And I said I would never do that, and I've talked about that in another episode. But I just looked at the fact of, I do want to be a person that can be at a company for that period of time. I want to be that, but I want to be the CEO. I don't want to just work there. I don't want to just make $700,000 in my 401k. Like, I want to get to this bigger thing. I want to own my own shit or whatever. But I aspired to that, and that was, just one of my goals or whatever. So as far as, just to circle back, because man, I can show y'all, but I had to say that because I'm like, man, I'm listening to you, and I'm like, no. I'm like, look, you still working on shit. We ain't talk. We like, it would be more so for niggas that literally don't do better. You know what I mean? They not doing nothing. It ain't like they got an alternative, and they like, man, look, I know I'm trash, but I'm gonna keep doing this or whatever. No.
But some niggas don't have you know what I mean, the means to do better, and sometimes they gotta make it their own. I have a another. This is the episode of examples. You know, I had one of my mans. You know, while I was growing up. You know what I mean, he was selling dope. You know what I mean, and he didn't. And you know what's crazy is a lot of niggas that do it, they don't even want to do it.
That's a fact.
But he didn't want to do it, but there was no other way. He was young, you know what I mean? He didn't have no, experience like that. But
sorry,
he managed.
You about to make me go off on a boy. Hey.
Listen,
that's a fact.
I'll be quick.
Say that again. Look, man, people don't get like, yo, y'all think niggas is proud of that? Y'all think niggas is happy about that shit? Y'all want to look at all these different rappers and people that's glorifying this and the third? Niggas don't really be wanting to, like, man.
No,
like,
they don't. And then I'll tell you this: the dudes that do want to do it, they're in it for the wrong reason.
Right. That's a fact.
You know what I mean? They're in it just so they can be there on IG and social media showing their money.
Yeah.
Them dudes that are really getting bread, you don't see them on social media like that, bro. Or if you do, they're regular. You know what I mean? But that's for another day.
Man, look,
you know what I mean?
If you look at any of you look at Jay-Z, you look at pretty much anybody. The people who do it the right way, they try to clean the fucking money at some point. There's another side. Let me reinvest in, like, man, all right.
And that's exactly what I was just about to get into, because my man was doing what he had to do. Was ultimately, he was always also nice with cutting hair. Now, fast forward to today, I won't get into everything that he went through, but fast forward to today, he has his own shop. And he's employing people. I'm sure this dude 10 years ago wasn't thinking about that when he was hustling.
Yeah.
Or maybe he was, but he just didn't see. Maybe he didn't think it was going to get to where it's at today.
Right.
My man got a business.
Yeah.
And he never looked back. He's clean. Yeah. He's clean, and God bless. And I love this nigga because he's showing that, like, yo, I was here and I did all of this and I know it wasn't right. But look at me now. Right. You know what I mean? And so he's showing, like, these younger dudes. Me, when I was coming up, I remember one day him and I had a conversation. I looked at him. I said, yo, bro, I want to be like you. And he looked at me like, nigga, what? I said, yo, bro, every time I see you, man, you got a. Right. He wasn't that much of a flashy dude, but like he always had nice clothes. He wasn't a chain person, but like he had little things, and I would know the price. And I was just like, yeah, damn, bro. Like here I am in my white tee and some jeans, and look at you, nigga. That polo is clean. Yeah. And he looked at me. He goes, yo, bro, I have never heard anybody make beats the way that you make beats. Don't you ever sell drugs a day in your life?
That's real.
And I'm looking at him like, yo, bro, I ain't making no money doing this. And this was back when I wasn't making no money. This is like when I'm starting. He goes, yo, I don't ever want to see you doing that shit, bro. You know what I mean? At the time, I had one kid. You know what I mean? I just had my daughter. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's like, yo, you got your daughter to worry about. He's like, yo, if I get locked up tomorrow, so the only person that's gonna miss me, it hurts, is gonna be my mother. But I don't have to worry about having to support anybody. You know what I mean? He looked at me. He was like, yo, you're starting a family. You know what I mean? And from that day, like, I never even thought about hustling ever again. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because it was point proven. Yeah. And so now I look at him today. He did what he had to do, and now he has his business. He's all legit. Yeah. He doesn't even play around with it. Yo, keep that away from me. When niggas come to shot, yo, keep that away from me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to know nothing about it. I don't even want to know what y'all doing. Let me just cut y'all niggas' hair and get out. You know what I mean?
That's real.
But again, he just didn't, he was doing wrong, you know what I mean? And maybe he knew that he was going to do better, or maybe he didn't know. Yeah. But again, that just goes to, the path that you take in life. You don't know where that shit going to lead you, bro.
Yeah. Bro, that's real shit, man. And look, I'm glad you put that out there, man. Me and my pop, we was talking, and every time I see him, man, he tell me how proud he is of me, because he like, he was like, you was a nerd, but you was a gangster. And he said, I'm glad that you didn't follow the shit that I was doing. He say, that was one thing that I'm so happy about, because a lot of people, people who looked up to him, they followed that same thing. And he said, you decided to be your own man and not do the same stuff I did. And he said, now look at you and your wife and your daughter and your family and how you take care of yourself and how you still do stuff for your mom and but it make me feel good every time because as a gangster you would think gangsters would be happy with another gang member, but he happier that I said I'm gonna do my own thing and went down this path and stayed away from the shit that he was doing because ultimately he would have did a different path. He would have went into sports. He would have did this. He would have did that. He did not. You know what I mean? So it's like you doing the right shit, which I've heard from several different people, man, and I appreciate it because I'm like, yo, knowing these people's lifestyles, you could, again, for them to say that they like genuinely like have every time I see this dude, he like happy for me or whatever, man. And again, he ain't even I grew up thinking that he would be happy for me if I was more like him, and he's happier that I turned out to be the first, far from what what he was or whatever. You know what I'm saying,
bro? Because the dudes that run the street, they don't want other people to do it because they know what it's like out there.
Yeah,
my father was the same way. You know what I mean? Him growing up in the Bronx now, we've seen the Warriors, of course, right? And they had like the different gang. That's real shit. You know what I mean? Now, of course, the gangs in the movie weren't real, but like there was gangs in New York.
Right.
And coming up, my father used to run with this group that was not far from Eden Wall and kind of all over the Bronx called Imperial Bachelors. There were niggas that was in the street. My father was in the street.
Yeah.
Today, and I mean, and that's why they moved us out of PA, even though I hate it. That's why I go back to New York as much as I can. But even when I was in New York, you know what I mean? He didn't want us running in the streets. Why? Because he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He knew the dirt that he was doing. He knew the niggas that he was beating up. He knew the dirt that he put in. He didn't want to see us. He didn't want us to do those things.
Yeah.
And I used to feel like you because as much as and I don't want to say it's a persona because we've all gotten into fights, but as much as I joke online about threatening people and all that, it's all jokes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I really don't want to be walking around fighting people and all that. And even in my real life, I'm a cool nigga. I could probably count on like both hands how many fights I've had in my life. You know what I mean? Like that's the type of shit I was on. And my father was always big on like, yo, I don't want you following what I did. You know what I did. People told you stories about what I did. You want to do that? He goes, you really want to be in those situations? And I never wanted to be in those situations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So dudes that are like, if y'all listening to this, yo, look at your OGs. You know what I mean? And if you're following a nigga that wants you to do bad, you're following the wrong type of nigga.
Right.
Because your OGs should be pointing you in the right direction.
Hell yeah.
They want you to do better than them. They want you to take it to a different level than them. You know what I mean?
That's a fact. Real OG, man. Like, look, and that's look, we gonna circle back because boy, hey, that can go into a whole other thing. I do want to say this though. I'm a little different from Sayer. I'm really about that shit. I got into a lot of fights when I was younger. I was fighting for a long time. Y'all niggas really don't want to see me. I want to be clear. And I know the people who listen to my podcast, y'all fuck with me. But I just want to be clear. Like, when y'all see me, y'all gonna be like, oh, this nigga's for real. Like, oh, yeah, he might look a certain way, or he might carry himself a certain way, or he might even speak a certain way. You hear me change my tone. You hear me using different words and stuff like that. But I'm really with the shit. Like, people really don't be wanting to, my wife be wanting to keep me calm. Everybody want to keep me calm or whatever. They really don't want me to revert back to AJ. I always kind of joke about the fact that who everybody thinks AJ is really my government name. Everybody really gets my government name. They don't get AJ. AJ was a bad little dude or whatever. AJ should have been gang banging, right? Like AJ was a whole other thing. You know what I mean? But and I know I kind of joke about that. They like, are you three different people or whatever? I'm like, kind of, but not really. It's like it's all the same person. But I'm like, like Bruce Banner and the fucking Hulk. Like the Hulk can come out. You know what I mean? He's still ready. My homeboys be like, bro, you still like on point. I'm like, every day, cause you know what I mean. Cause niggas will try you or whatever, and they know I'm not the fucking one. So people won't see it. You won't see it just up front. But anyway, that was look. Hold on, sorry, I ain't even gonna let you. Cause look, I know you was saying you was joking. I know, but look, I'm joking too.
You just made me look soft.
No. Look, I'm joking too, y'all. I'm serious as a motherfucker, but I'm joking. I want y'all to take it like that. Like I'm serious and I'm joking at the same time. I got a wife. I got a kid or whatever, but I want niggas to know. Cause some people be thinking like it's a joke. You know, they think it's like a joke for real. Like, yeah, it's a joke because I make it a joke, but it can get real quick. Okay, look. Sorry, I ain't gonna let. So why people? Okay, don't do better. So okay, So to go back to that, man. If we know better, then why don't we do better? I think people are lazy. When you talk about humanity, humanity and us falling short and all of this, I think a lot of people do what's comfortable to them. I think they do what's easy to them. We know that. Well, you hear about it in church or whatever. The road to perdition or hell or whatever is wide. The road to salvation is narrow, and all of this different stuff. And again, typically you see that with certain people, different people in the media or whatever, where it's like, yo, that easy shit, that corny shit, that sucker shit, really gonna put you in the wrong place. It might give you more of a, you might get here faster, but you're not necessarily gonna stay there or whatever. So that's that was. I just wanted to go back and kind of touch on that because I do want to dig into that a little bit deeper because I feel like people, we almost love insanity. We love to do the same shit over and over and expect a different result. Even though we talk about it and we say, I know my mama told me better. I know she told me not to deal with this type of man. I know the last time I got this chick pregnant, here I am again with another chick pregnant or whatever. And I said I ain't gonna do it no more. But it seems like we love just doing the same shit over and over. Do you think people even think about it? The fact that they doing the same shit over and over, or is it like subconscious? Like it's just built into them. They don't even think about it. They just do it.
No, well, we're creatures of habit. All of us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's just like a person who wakes up every day and just goes to work. You know what I mean? I get that you have to do it. You know what I mean? But in reality, do you really, really have to do it? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like we're told that this is what we're supposed to do, and we just follow it. You know what I mean? So I do think a lot of things people just kind of get into like a routine, and they realize certain things work. You know what I mean? And they just stick with it. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's for the better, and sometimes it isn't. Like there's some people that they're okay with just staying on that straight line. Like, all right, man, I ain't making that much money, but I'm making enough. You know what I mean? Yeah. Some people are scared to just take that one little step. Like, I won't front. That's me. I'm kind of scared to kind of take that next little step. You know what I mean? With my actual career.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because now I'm scared of, okay, if I take this next step, you know what I mean? I may have to deal with, okay, I got to work some more hours now. Yeah. That means that's less studio time for me. Right. Or do I stick with this music thing and keep making these beats and, okay, people are buying them. But what if it slows down? Now what? Let's say I put all my eggs into that basket. You know what I mean? And this shit don't work out. Now what? You know what I mean? So it does get to be a bit, scary, and I understand it, and that's why when people are okay with just doing what they're doing and staying on that path, I get it and I understand it. You know what I mean? But as far as us, doing bad, you know what I mean? I don't think a lot of people mean to do that shit either. Like, do you think people mean to do like no good or to do bad?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm a little bit different, man. They got the optimist, the realist, and the pessimist or whatever. And I consider myself to be a realist. And yeah, I think people do. Like, I think people know full and well what the fuck they doing. I've talked to some people, and I think that people know, like, they doing this shit and they doing that. My friend told me, this is when we were in college. I've talked about it a little bit before on one of my older episodes, but where he basically said doing right all the time ain't fun. It's boring. It's corny. Like, You actively know that you could be doing right all the time. You could not be cheating on your girl and not worry about no drama. You could do this on your job and not worry about losing your job. You could do, but it's like, yo, that shit ain't no fun. It's like people like excitement. Like people like the whole fear factor shit. People may not be jumping off of mountains doing this and that. I got homies, obviously, I got homies from younger that was doing shit, and they literally had the best lives. Like I wanted to be like them. They had everything, and these niggas was like, "Yo, we don't like this. Like we like when shit is kind of a little hot. Like when we gotta like look over our shoulder." And I was like, "Yo, you niggas are fucking idiots. I gotta look over my shoulder, and I don't want to do that. You niggas is going out to the fucking fire. I'm trying to get away from the fire. You know what I mean? So, do you think So I mean, yeah. So yes, I don't have a lot of, this is gonna sound bad, man, but it's like, yo, I don't have a lot of faith in humanity. I have faith, like I hope that one day we can see Martin's dream be actualized, like where everybody can hold one hands and we're one nation. I don't know if I'm gonna live to ever see that. So the reality
I don't think we are.
Is the people that we deal with, like y'all know y'all doing this stuff, and y'all know that y'all could change it, but y'all choosing not to.
I think it's just it's a big, like something like that you bring up. That is a lot. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think it's a lot of small steps are being taken right now for us to ultimately see that dream actually happen. But you gotta understand, there's a lot of people who feel and believe in the complete opposite. And as much as we try to make these changes, there's some people that are just going to be stuck in their way. So what we got to do? We have to try and teach it to the next generation. Yeah. The youngins that are coming up. So, there was this one dude that when I moved to PA, his father was wild racist. He was one of them, those Italians that we seen and like do the right thing, that just did not like, black people like that. But the son was opposite. You know what I mean? Like, and I believe him. Like, I get it. Sometimes people are like, well, I do this in public. Like him, I believe, because like there was days that he just didn't even rock with his father. You know what I mean? Like I've seen them argue and all that shit. And this is a white kid that like, I was looking at him funny, like, why does he want to be cool with me? You know what I mean? Like, why does this dude want to be cool? But that's because to him, he didn't see the world the way his father did. Yeah. You know what I mean? So him right there, he's sparking a change. So for the future, even if he does marry and ends up being with a white woman or whatever the case may be, he ended up being with a Spanish woman, but that's another story. But like, let's say he ended up being with a white woman. Yeah. I'm sure he's going to teach his child his beliefs. He's not going to teach his child his father's beliefs. Right. So now, guess what? That line right there of that family having so much hatred toward people of color just changed right there. Yes. You know what I mean? So we need to have more of that, but I think that's going to be a slow process. Yeah. You know what I mean? No, and it goes the same way for us. Like my father, and I'm gonna assume maybe your father was the same way. They came up in the 60s and 70s. It wasn't cool for it wasn't a easy life for people of color back then. Yeah. My father dealt with police harassment. He got beat up by white people, so on and so forth. So my father has a bad taste in his mouth for white people. Yeah. Pause if needed. But like he keeps them at distance. Me, because I grew up and following and reading biography of Malcolm X, following the Honorable Minister Farrakhan. I studied and I watched all of that. Right. Now, it doesn't mean that I fully agree with everything that was said, but I keep that in my mind. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like I have that, but then I also have everyday living. So when I remember when I lived in New York, there was like a few white people in school, but guess what? We didn't treat them no different. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. We're all in the same hood. You experiencing the same shit. Just don't say, nigga, I'll break your nose. Yeah. But besides that, you know what I mean? Like we all experience the same thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to have hatred for this person. You know what I mean? And me growing up now, I'm teaching my kids just to be a little bit different from my father. Now, I believe he has all right to be that way because of what he dealt with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm hoping that I spark the change that will spark a change for my kids and then their kids and moving forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. It's going to be a slow process, but eventually we're going to get there. I just don't think it's going to be in your lifetime. It's not going to be in my lifetime.
Yeah.
But eventually it's going to get there.
Yeah. Look, and you know, let me say this. When I talk about do people actively, knowingly like the bad, I'm more so speaking specifically to people who doing bad shit, like the people who doing bad shit. Like I want, you know, I think we gotta acknowledge it. Like niggas know what you niggas know what you be doing or whatever. It don't be you feel it, and you will do that shit anyway. You be like, yo, I probably shouldn't take a long. You know, it could be some little shit like I probably shouldn't be on my lunch an hour and a half, but fuck it. You know what I mean? It's like, yo,
at me.
you need that job. But the bad shit will just, you know, like they say, you got the angel on one shoulder, the devil on the other one, and the fun shit, all of that, whatever that people would say that's fun or whatever or bad, it's like, yo, yeah, I'm going to do that or whatever. You know what I mean? Opposed to being the goody two shoes. Like we know that the goody two shoes, and again, it may just be our upbringing, but that shit wasn't cool. Like that shit wasn't cool. Like you wasn't nobody. The girls wasn't liking you. The girls want the bad boys. You know what I mean? What they say? Shit. What city girls? The scamming ass. Like, you know what I mean? They ain't talking about. They want a nigga that's got this type of job from 401k and he has investments and he got they like an IRA. No, they ain't talking about that. I mean, to this day. So I do think people know. They like for those people. I'm like, yeah, I just want them to acknowledge it, and it was like, yo. I said this on Twitter, you know what I mean? I say this all the time. This is one of my mottos. I feel like it's easy to make your life hard and it's hard to make your life easy. Like it's going to take work to put yourself in a better position. Like it's going to take this, it's going to take that. But if you take this easy road, your life can get hard real quick. Like shit can come at you real fast instead of you saying, okay, like you again, making these beats, working at night, doing the podcast, you know what I mean? And not working at night, but just like all the stuff that you doing is for the better. You could sit there and like you said, you could just be like, all right, I'm finna just put all this stuff to the side, man, and I'm gonna take the easy route. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna get these beats from here and I'm gonna use this person's name and I'm gonna throw this out, I'm gonna do this, but it's like, no, I'm taking this road. I'm taking, this is a little bit harder. It's putting a little bit more on my plate or whatever, but I like this road opposed to taking the easy road or whatever.
Yeah, and kind of going back to what you just said, as far as like people doing bad, they know it. You said it. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's ultimately on them at the end of the day. And I do believe that whatever decisions, a person makes, helps shape who they are in the future. So, okay, they may do, we experience shit and we do dumb things and things that we know is bad, but I do believe that majority, the people that do the wild shit know that they're doing wrong and they're hoping that whatever it is that they're doing now can eventually help change their situation in the long run.
Yeah.
And again, that goes from people, whether you're robbing people, whether you're selling drugs, whether you're just doing shit that's messed up, or you have somebody like me who's just trying to figure out another way of doing it.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I do believe that there is an end game to whatever it is a person's trying to do. So I don't knock people who do bad or whatever it is that they're doing. Now, unless if you're robbing old people and you're beating up kids and taking money, you deserve whatever comes your way.
Yeah.
But if you're just doing some things that like, yo, I'm just trying to get by and trying to figure it out, all right, bro, I don't knock you. You know what I mean? Do what you got to do, but keep that goal in your head. Don't get lost in whatever the bad shit or the negative shit that you're doing. Don't get lost in that either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it is easy to get lost in that too.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
It's like I say, man. It's it's tough, man. Because again, that's the stuff that we glorify. We say the bad shit is good, and we give passes to our homeboys to this, to that. Like, we will give passes when we know our homeboy is putting his hands on his old lady, or we know that he not taking care of his kid. And men, it's like, yo, we gotta do better. It's like, yo, I can't fuck with you. I can't do this. I got homies. They still living them type of lives, and I hope they get their shit together. But I'm like, yo, my nigga, I cannot ride with you anymore. Niggas would literally, and I probably mentioned it on another episode, but it's like niggas would literally have me out at, you know, some fucking trap house in the fucking hood in an all black, you know, like, and I'm like, yo, bro, if I would have known this, I would have never got
I wouldn't be here.
Nigga, you got me out here looking crazy, and you know I don't even move like this. Like, if I'm gonna move like this, I'm gonna move differently. I ain't just gonna, like, literally, it would just be like a regular day, and they would have me in the weirdest fucking place. Like, hey, man, just ride with me. Now, I got my car, but they like, nah, bro, just ride with me or whatever. We just gonna go right here. We're gonna be right back. I'll be like, all right, you know, not even thinking about it. And then it's like, all right, I realized with certain homeboys, nah, I gotta cut out all that shit. I can't do it no more because you put me in a bad situation. Either something gonna happen to me or I'm gonna have to do something to somebody. Thankfully, none of it ever happened. But it's like, yo, you, like, these niggas don't know me and I don't know them. And I don't really fuck with people like that, man. And so I can't, like, you just gotta, you know, again, everybody don't move the same way, but my homies know, like, bro, if you don't put me in no weird type of position, man, because I don't know this nigga. You know what I mean? Like, you might be like, oh, he cool. He sell me this. I don't know this nigga. I don't know if this nigga certified. I don't know if he's solid. I don't know nothing about him. You might come over there and the nigga might pull out a pistol on you. Like, bro, I don't know this guy or whatever. Anyway, that's going to get us off with, look. Sire, hey, man, I'm glad I'm talking to you, man, and Lord. Okay, we got, how you looking, bro, for real? How you looking on time or whatever?
We might have to do a part 2, beloved. Okay, that's how we looking. I apologize. We might have to do a part 2.
Because I know we, you know what I'm saying?
Listen, wifey got the good cooking. She got the good cooking going on downstairs, and she gave me the look when I walked by, like, it's done. It's on you. You know what I mean? So I apologize, but definitely let's set up part 2. I don't mind.
Bet. Yeah, we definitely gonna do that, man. Cause I definitely, you know, got some more shit I want to get into. I wanted to make sure, but I know. Look, I hope y'all have enjoyed this. I'm gonna put a button in it. I want to say one more thing. You know, to kind of cap it off, we'll wrap it up here, and then we're gonna get rescheduled. We're gonna get back to it or whatever. But another, kind of the final piece of that part was the whole thing about us getting older and just being more concerned about our health, being more concerned about our parenting, our communication, and the fact that we still have this little fight of doing the right shit and doing it consistent. It's like niggas know they need to go to the gym. Niggas know they need to spend more time with their kids. Niggas know they need to work on their communication with their wives. But it's like we, and again, we still have that human thing where we still kind of tussle with that. Some of us are getting better, but I know that, even though I know better, I'm still working on that part of doing better.
Doing better.
It's just it's so weird how we are as, as people that, again, this is not a perfect scenario. This is not a perfect world or anything like that. But I want people to know that, we go through that same shit. You might see Sayer, you might hear about him working on all this different stuff. You guys might see me talking about different stuff on the timeline, this, that, and the third. But I still have this battle of, I know I can do better, but it's like, this shit here is a lot easier for me to not do better and to get into this argument, to not spend time with my daughter because I want to be selfish or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that was kind of, I just wanted to kind of, I wanted to kind of cap that off because that was like, the last little piece was just like, even though we getting older and some of us are working on it, it's still this little thing in us that still don't want to do right all the time.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah.
This was dope, man.
Yeah, really this was definitely dope, man. I appreciate you. Go ahead and give out your socials again.
Yes, definitely. You guys can listen to us weekly at the Officially Street Podcast. That's pretty much anywhere that you could get a podcast. You can find us on there. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. That's TOS podcast _SO. And you guys can follow me everywhere at Syer SO. That's SYERSO.
Already. Damn. I need to do that too. Okay, real quick. Can you tell them about the podcast? Real quick, can you tell them about the podcast?
The podcast, we try to do a little bit of everything. I think we do a good job of keeping our listeners on their toes because every week they don't know what to expect. We'll touch on anything pop culture related, music related. We usually try to do our best on keeping our conversation on things that would affect the community. I bring up stuff that does pop up on the news that may not get the amount of light that it should. So we touch on a lot of things like that on our regular episodes. And it's myself, J Omega, and Cherry Poppins. And then we also do interviews with, we have an interview with a comedian that's coming up very soon. We've had movers and shakers all over New York that's been on our podcast. We have people like Jonathan Mena, A King, It's the Real, people that have a good story that come through an interview with us. And when we do interviews, we like to get into their story. And then lastly, I'm sorry, this is a lot, guys, but stick with me. We have the Survivor Series, and our co-host Cherry defeated cancer, and she just wants to help spread the awareness of cancer and having people tell their story and what they went through, how they felt going through the situation, and hopefully to help people that may not take their health as serious as they should. And next season will be something different, but it's going to be an ongoing thing. So again, if you enjoy things like that, like I said, it is a lot, but we try to keep our listeners on their toes so they get a different type of experience, weekly. Definitely check us out, man. The Official Street Podcast.
One of the best fucking shows out. If y'all
I appreciate that, man.
Don't take my motherfucking word for it. Y'all know I don't really sugarcoat. I don't really talk about everybody. I don't even put everybody, names on my podcast or whatever. But listen, I was a fan before I was a podcaster. I've been rocking with these guys for a long time. I salute them.
I appreciate that, man.
I support them. They do a lot of dope shit. And it's just a good, fun, natural conversation. You know what I mean? They got a good balance between Syer, J Omega, and Cherry. It's just dope all the way around. So
I appreciate it, man. I definitely appreciate it. You have been there since like the beginning. This was before you even put your actual picture on your Abby. That's how far we go back.
Everybody don't know about that. Everybody don't know about that right there. Yes, sir. Now, I appreciate you, man. Again, appreciate you for coming on the show.
Thank you, bro.
Again, this is AJ. This is the What We Gonna Do podcast. I'm out. Until next time. Peace.
Peace.
Oh my gosh, back at it again. Back at it. In the kitchen whipping, I'm rapping again. Whip it. Keep on playing, bitch, then I'm stabbing your friend.